Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. We made it another weekend ahead. I hope you guys all have some great plans coming up. I am actually headed to Ventura, California, right after this live stream, taking my son Caleb for yet another soccer tournament. So excited for that and excited to get on the road. But before, I didn't want to disappoint. I had to bring in a cool guest. We're going to be talking to Christopher Owens today. He is with CultureHUB out here in Phoenix and just a real stand-up guy. You're going to love him. I know the first time I interviewed him, I loved him. I was like, this is so cool. I got to have you back on the show. And I'll tell you a little bit about how we met. But before we get started, I want to give just a huge shout out to some people in my life, to my sponsor, Gateway Bank. Gateway Bank is out here in Mesa. Christopher, you'll be happy to know they're actually opening up a location in Phoenix too. So this is community happening at its finest. And James Christensen over there and his staff at Gateway Bank are just amazing people, very involved with the community. And he's a sponsor of this show. He's also a sponsor of this that just happened on Wednesday. This is my Social Connect Phoenix.com event that just went down. And we can share a little bit about that as Christopher and I have, some conversations around impact. We'll be talking about that. And then coming up on December 16th, I have a couple of Connecting Through Community events that I'll talk about. One is actually on the 15th is a blood drive I'm doing with the American Red Cross at my brokerage, Arizona Elite Properties. And then the next day, teaming up with Tim Whitman and an organization out in Chandler, and we're doing Wreaths Across America. So we will actually be putting wreaths on veterans who have since passed and just paying tribute to them. So if you are looking for community service projects, you want to involve your kids, you want to be helping out the local community, then these are great events to get involved with and lend a hand. And before we get started, I just want to say thanks if you're tuning in off of LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Don't be shy. Say hello. I know we're streaming to a lot of platforms, including Christopher's IG account. So make sure you say hello and ask those questions if you have them while Chris and I get into this conversation. But before we get started, you know how I like to do it. We like to have a little dance party on Friday. So sit tight. Here you go. And I'll be right back. Welcome back. Did I catch you dancing? Did that hype you up for Friday? All right, well, here we go. Excited to introduce you to Christopher Owens again. He's the CEO and the founder of CultureHUB out here in Phoenix. Was telling me about his great grand opening that's taken place in November. Christopher, welcome to Tisha Talks Live. Such a treat having you. Good to see you again.
Thank you. It's good seeing you as well. Thank you for having me on. This is awesome. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. I've always said Fridays are just fun days. Like this should be a fun thing that we do. And so I love being able to interview other entrepreneurs around the globe, in fact, and share their story and dive into some conversations and add value to our audience. So I know we have some people tuning in on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So thank you for joining us live. And even if you're not joining us live, there's a thing called a replay. So you can always catch us. It's always on, it's being recorded, and you'll learn a lot of great things from Christopher as we get started. So I want to just first say how we met, because I always think it's important to tell people, how do I actually meet all of these guests? And I'd say fate. Well, so Christopher and I are both part of Local First Arizona. Shout out to the folks there, Thomas Barr included. And he asked me to moderate a panel at the Good Business Summit that just happened in early April 5th, I believe. And I got to interview Christopher Owens and Elaine Burks-Mitchell, who will be joining me on Tisha Talks Live next Friday on social entrepreneurship. And we just had the best time. Like we really only had we had an hour long panel discussion, right?
Yeah, it flew. Whatever it was, it flew by. It literally felt like 15 minutes when we got to talking because we were all so comfortable. And of course, you were such an awesome and amazing moderator. Like time literally just flew. But yeah, we had a ball.
Yeah, I had some people come up and they're like, that was the best panel. The three
Yep.
of you up there, you could just see the dynamic. It was fun. It was engaging. It was heartwarming. Like there were tears, there were laughter. It was good.
Yeah, it was a good time, a great time. We got to do that again. We definitely
I
got to do it.
know. We need to tell Thomas, hey, you got to put us back up there. We're not done yet. We're not done.
Yes.
Thomas, if you're listening.
Yes. Come on.
I know, right? All right. So today we're going to be talking about art, entrepreneurship, and finding your purpose. And Christopher is an entrepreneur, as I mentioned, and I know he has so much great insight. Hey, and I want to say hi to Luis, who's joining us today. He's this happy, groovy Friday. He's out of Ventura, California. Thanks so much, Luis, for being on. And, I always like to ask the question of, how does one become a business owner? Like you went from spoken word artist, Christopher, and you have such a dynamic past, but how did you get to be a business owner?
Like most business owners, I kind of stumbled into it.
Yeah.
Still doing spoken word, and I'm grateful for the avenues and the doors that it's opened for me. But naturally, with anything that you're doing, there's a sense of an evolution, and there is a merge. As an artist, you're required to, once you're traveling and everything, form a business in a certain way. You don't want to just be on the road and just have your CDs and whatnot. You find some people do that, and that's fine, but other people evolve going from the open mic to just a business and doing public speaking or just other spaces. For me, entrepreneurship, especially with doing events, as you know, doing events is a business in itself. So just the natural progression of things that you learn from an open mic, event planning, hosting a show, it opens up other opportunities that naturally build into other things. And as a poet, you want to have a purpose. You don't want to just be on the stage just saying things for people to listen to you. So you want to back up your words with some form of an impact. So for me, that was a natural progression to Culture PHX and now to CultureHUB.
And CultureHUB. Yeah, I know. And I missed that. I'm sad that I didn't get to hear about your poetry when you had it at Phoenix, at the Phoenix Business Summit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to listen in on this one day. Like I'm going to have to just come and have you do like a private.
I got you. Yeah, we'll do a private show. Not a problem. But the cool thing with poetry is that it allowed me to engage and open into different conversations, and those conversations would lead to people being, well, you know what, you may want to look into going to business or treating this in another aspect, or have you thought of public speaking? Like usually the ideals that others give us, they'll see a magic in us that we don't see in ourselves. And so as a result of that, then once that ideal is birthed, and me being a creative and a problem solver is naturally like, okay, how would I do this? How would this look like as a business? And sometimes we don't have all those answers. You just have to move forward. And so that's what
you go. It's like you're flying the plane as you go, right? You're like,
yes, after you jumped off the cliff. Yes. but it's natural. Like they say necessity is the mother of invention. And a lot of times, unless you have that push and that will to move forward, you're just going to stay in one place. You'll remain stuck. And as a business owner, you're forced to go. You have if you don't have a fire within you, you will get one lit underneath you. Let me tell you.
You will get lit.
Yes.
Yeah, you will get lit. One will be lit underneath you. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Okay, Jason coming in saying, have this man speak. His spoken word is fire. It's let the truth be told. Hey, welcome, Jason. Thanks so much for tuning into the show. I'm excited, Christopher. We're gonna have to schedule that because now I need that poetry in my life.
I got you. If we have a couple minutes, I can actually share something whenever you want me to. So it's not a problem. Part of being a business owner and a professional is being prepared. So as a poet, I've been blessed to be a full-time artist for 14 years. I've had many a time where it's like, hey, we know you just showed up to enjoy everything, but could you perform for 30 minutes? And, after I send an invoice, I'm like, fine. No.
Let me just send that invoice.
No, seriously. Sometimes, just to be able to be out to help inspire others, certain things you can't put an invoice on. So to be able to help others, to speak to youth, to speak in, different juvenile centers, it's worth it all the time. Anytime you can inspire anybody.
Good. Well, I want to give some more shout outs to some people tuning in off of LinkedIn. Royce Blake, he's one of my just my loyal fans that come to Tisha Talks every single Friday. Hey, Royce, good to see you. He says, knowing you have an impact can make you jump out of bed. Oh, and we know that. We're going to talk a lot about impact today. And then Teresa joining us saying, schedule it fast. It's life changing right now. Right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got to jump. It's that fire you're talking about. Do you've got the
Absolutely.
fire, and does it make you move? Because, and you mentioned this, necessity of you have an idea and you're like, I need something to change. And it really is on you.
Yeah.
It's on you about, are you going to make something happen? Or are you just going to let it pass you by? And the next year you're like, why didn't I start that? Why didn't I do that? I should have done that already.
I think one of the biggest issues we have as people is that we doubt ourselves. I was having a call. I had a call with a good friend yesterday and was speaking how we often don't recognize our own magic until others point it out within us. And so I don't know if it's the fear. Well, I do know it's the fear and the doubt, and that paralyzes a lot of people. And if you allow that to happen, you'll never progress. You'll never move forward. And a lot of people are just simply afraid to make mistakes. And mistakes that's the secret sauce of any business. That's how you learn. You don't know everything. You're not supposed to. You get into it and you naturally build and progress, but you'll never know if you don't move. So I always try to, encourage people to move. Just try. Be willing to fail. Be proud, be excited. Look for the opportunities to fail, because those opportunities are the opportunities for growth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So would you say that's the best advice, or do you have more advice you'd like to give those people who are either aspiring entrepreneurs, Christopher, or already established in their career?
Well, for everyone, for entrepreneurs old and new, I would say just believe in yourself. We have days where we all doubt ourselves. I'm no different than anyone else. Remind yourself, create a list of accomplishments that you've done. Oftentimes I found that people, when they create lists of accomplishments, forget about things that they've done. And when you look at everything and then go, well, why am I worried about this? I'm worried about doing A, but I've already done B, C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. That a lot of times can help instill your confidence and knock out that anxiety and that doubt and allow you to move forward. Just believe in yourself.
Something that I started doing last year was celebrating my wins every single last day of the month. And that has been such a great exercise. I tell all my clients to do it, and it feel like others are following that trend too. But I'm like, we are so ingrained to just go on to the next thing that we stop to smell the roses and go, what did I actually accomplish in the 30 days, 31 days that I had? Personally, professionally, small, big, whatever size it is, I need to be able to document this almost like my little diary, that I could always go back to and go, oh my gosh, yeah, in April. So you know this, Christopher. In April, I spoke like 5 times on stages and hosted my Social Connect 3-year anniversary. That's big.
Right. That's huge.
Big movement.
but again, the problem is a lot of times we sell short what we do. Comparison is the thief of joy. And a lot of times we find, especially in the social media age, you see people posting, and a lot of it will root back to like the mindset of a scarcity mindset, where you feel as if there's a limited, finite amount of resources and funds that can happen, or there's a finite amount of success that can happen for people. I don't want to always just tie it strictly to money, although that does help. But to be able to succeed in what you're doing, to have an impact, not worrying about what others think or trying to fit yourself into other standards for what they call success. If you're able to help others, to inspire and encourage others, that is being a success. It's not about the perfection, just about the process.
That's it. All right. So you touched on a good word about impact. And I want to touch on this too, because you and I were having such a great conversation in the green room earlier. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I got into our Tisha Talks green room, and I was crying. And I told Chris, I was like, I just watched a video. I just hosted my very last Social Connect Phoenix. Some of you are following me on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Instagram. And it was so touching to me that my videographers at the event went around and asked everybody for testimonials. And then they compiled this amazing video of so many people who have been with me from the start of this in 2018, of all of the people that have just enjoyed it and have said how much of an impact I've made on their life and on their business. And I was just so moved, so touched, happy tears, crying like crazy. You got to see it. I was like, hold on, let me just wipe my tears.
I did, and it was a beautiful thing to see, because those are the things that I'm talking about, and it always helps to hear from others, because when you're working, whatever your business is, if you're moving from a place of service, to have others who have received from it, who you've poured into, it matters. And you were crying those happy tears because you were seeing the fruition of your goals, your dreams, your work that you had done. And anytime that you have that, it's okay to celebrate yourself. As you were mentioning, that video was your October 31st. It was
Yeah.
it was the end of the month, and so to have that and to see that is great, and that gives you fuel to keep going. You always want to keep inspiring, keep working, and it's not for the sake of people pleasing as much as it is helping and serving others.
Yeah.
So
And so
thank
you
you.
just said October 31st. I was like, I should really just share this. So I have it forever. I can pin it. I can watch it whenever I feel like it, or whenever I'm feeling that self-doubt creep in and go, oh, Tisha, can you or can't you? Watch
Yes.
the video and go, oh yeah, you can. And all of these people believe in you, right?
Definitely. To everyone who's watching on whatever platform you may be on, I highly suggest, and I'm saying this as a point of accountability because I'm going to start it myself, having a gratitude journal or an
Yes.
accomplishment journal, or make it a combination of the two. And hopefully you have so many things that you're writing down, you have to keep getting more and more. And so you have that to pour into yourself, because it can get a bit exhausting at times when you're being serving and trying to help others. So to have that to pour back on yourself is vital, and I highly suggest it for everyone.
Yes. Okay. So now you hit on another point because we talked about this. How can you have impact without all the exhaustion? Because I know we were talking about
Mm,
this in the green room of really you can have impact on even one person, right? Like, do you have to be always trying to impact the masses, or can you take it down to just a simplified scale and just have that impact? So I want to hear from you, Christopher, because I know we were like talking
yeah.
about this a little bit.
Well, I always tell my team, we're not here to impress, we're here to impact. And
Mm,
I tell people, I've had a bit of a revolution over the past 4 or 5 years, where I've noticed flaws that were holding me back from being my better self. One of them being focusing on impressing people. As a spoken word artist, I had done national commercials. I've written for other poets. I've helped other poets launch their national careers. And I performed everywhere from Barclays and Alvin Ailey to the Ford Theater. And I'm still doubting myself as far as trying to live up to people who, to be blunt, wish they could write on the level that I could. And if you
mm,
find yourself being prisoner to other people's standards, you will never be free.
mm,
And so what I had to learn is being able to embrace my magic, knowing what it is, not doubting myself, and then just moving in it. And seeing, like you said, having videos like the testimonials that you had, it helps to show you the impact. So if you hear back is great and it's really affirming, most people won't even reach out, and that's fine, because again, it's not the accolades that we're here for, it's the impact. So when you see the difference, when you see your fingerprint in other spaces and on the way, in the way that others are carrying themselves, that's the profound impact that we want to have. When you see the change in the community that we're working for, when you see more businesses that are growing and blossoming and flourishing, knowing that you had a direct impact in that is what matters more than the number of people that are liking your posts when you are showing whatever it is that you're showing. Because we're not here for that. It's more our purpose is more than who likes a photo or a video on an algorithm. And if you reduce yourself to that, you're really reducing your own magic. So yeah,
You
just
know, I want to just talk about that for a little bit because you also mentioned something too that we're always in it for if other people are coming to us and saying, well, why isn't like here's an example.
mhm.
I have my social connect events, and I know in February my attendance was a little lower because everything under the sun was happening. Super
Right.
Bowl, Waste Management Open,
Hmm.
all these things,
It was great.
beautiful weather.
Yeah.
And I remember someone coming up to me, they're like, it's not as well attended as it usually is. And I
Mm,
just found myself kind of going into that hole of, you know what? We actually have enough people here. We're
mm,
just spread out, and some people had to leave, but it's still a great turnout. Like, I
definitely.
felt like I had to justify that. And I think this whole impact not being exhaustion is
Hmm.
really where I'm at. So thank you, Christopher. Thank you for just opening my eyes up even this morning when we were talking about it doesn't have to be this big monstrous thing. It just
Right.
has to be you making an impact even on the one,
Hmm.
right? And so that's kind of where I'm leading with it is like, okay, let's get back to this simplicity lifestyle that I want. Let's make the impact on the people that I want. Let's not care about all of the things and the social media and the
Right.
need to impress other people. Like I'm
Hmm.
over it. I'm
And
over
yeah,
it. And I know you are
absolutely.
too.
Oh, I am more than over it. And the thing is, like I said, we don't want to get caught up in things that are not tied directly to our purpose. And to have that impact is, like I said, it's not about the numbers. You can have 1,000 people at your event. What are they getting from it? Like if what you're doing is only tied to money and doesn't have a greater fulfillment to it, there's always going to be that empty feeling that there needs to be more, or I need to do this. And you're going to have, quite honestly, you're going to have people that will show up to your events just to see how successful or how full it is. And I've always asked myself, one, what is that person doing?
Mm,
And two, a reminder I give myself is that anybody can buy a ticket to an arena, to a sporting event. You have to earn your spot on the team on the floor. And
mm-hmm.
so there's always going to be people yelling in the stands when you're, metaphorically speaking, shooting free throws or going for a goal. They paid to be there. They're fans. And
Yeah.
so when you're an athlete, anyone that's performing, you got to be able to calm out and kill the noise and just move forward in what you're doing. And to the point of, like you said, avoiding exhaustion. A lot of times we feel as if we have to wear all the hats at the same time to
Right.
be able to collaborate and to work with others, and allow others to work in their magic while following what your vision may be. It really amplifies everyone, and it raises all the boats in the water, so to speak.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, I want to call out some comments that we have here. Jason saying gratitude is strongly researched as a foundation or a source of happiness.
Hmm.
Absolutely. All right, show of hands. Well, it's just you and I, but you can raise your hand in the audience too. How many
Yes.
just start your day with just gratitude? Yeah, yeah. Biggest game changer of my life is laying in bed and just waking up and saying, thank you, God, for
Yes.
making me walk today and giving me life today and all the
Yes.
things that I get to do. Like that is something that I really teach my kids as well. And it's something that has changed my life to not be in this scarcity mindset, to be in more of an abundant mindset, to stop and smell the roses
Mhm.
and just have a positive outlook, you know?
And the thing is, like when you when intention is the name of the game. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're waking up in that space and you're thanking God, your creator, the universe, whatever you are comfortable with or however you move, it puts your intention in a certain space. Like doing things like that, and something as simple as making your bed up. So by the time you've brushed your teeth, you've already set your mindset for a space of gratitude and intention, and you have a task accomplished. And so then it's just a matter of habit and repetition and moving forward. And to be honest, like that discipline, that simple mindset and that discipline is what separates a lot of people from mediocre to great. Because there
Yeah.
are a lot of great people, it's just the mediocre mindset they have while they're moving.
True. True stuff. All right. Okay. I've got to ask you this question. And I think this is kind of a loaded question, but I'd love to hear your response, Christopher. I'm
Let's
meeting
go.
a lot of people lately, especially older, people that have lived life.
Mhm.
They've gone through some careers. Maybe they're in some tougher circumstances because job loss and such. But a lot of people have come to me and they say, how do I find my purpose?
Mhm.
Wow, that's loaded. That's a big question. And I would love to hear from you. What would you
Hmm.
say to someone that's like, Christopher, I feel like I've lost my purpose. Maybe I don't even know what it is. How do I find it?
I would start by saying, listen to your heart, listen to your gut. My
Mm,
mother and my both of my parents, but my mother especially, before I took a test in elementary school, would always tell me, trust your gut. If you have a question and you don't, it's a multiple choice and you don't know the answer, go with your gut.
yeah.
And I promise, like 95% of the time when I did that, I got the right answer. And the times that I didn't, I was like, why didn't I do that? It's the same thing for our lives. A lot of people know what they're good at, but a lot of people know what it can be, what they feel fulfilled by doing. And a
Mm,
lot of sometimes, you find yourself being lucky like myself and it being overlapping or the same thing, in fact. So for me, it was always service. It was public speaking, using my voice as a tool to connect with others, to build bridges, and also just to challenge people to be better versions of themselves. You have to just sit and be honest with yourself. Find what is it that if I did not get paid, a dime to do, what would I do for the rest of my life? Start there. And then, move forward. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't feel as if you have to get out of the scarcity mindset, and don't let your pride prevent you from asking the question that can change your life.
Right.
You have to be able to find the information. We're in the information age. So being able to find that, to focus on where you need to be at. And then once you have that focus, that's the part that changes everything. I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for 10 years. My godfather was a chaplain, and occasionally we would go to Churchill Downs, especially during the Derby. Side note, if you've never been to Louisville, first Saturday in May, I highly suggest you do that. Make it a bucket list thing.
Bucket list.
I learned from trainers the reason why horses wear blinders during the race is that they have to focus on their lane and on their finish line. Otherwise, if they have the peripheral, they're looking at all the other horses, they're running into each other, they're breaking legs, they have to be euthanized. It can be a horrible scene. So we have a tendency of doing that when we're scrolling on social media, when we're looking at what others are saying. When you post something and you come back 30 minutes later just to see the number of people that liked it. I'm saying all of this not as a point of judgment, but as a place where I've done these things, so I know it. So just being able to share mistakes that you've made, being vulnerable. Transparency is a superpower if you know how to speak properly. So just being able to do that, it once you do that and just get into the forums, everything else will handle itself.
Great question, though, you asked, and I've heard that a lot of, if you could be doing something and time and money weren't an object, what would you be doing? And that question has really kept me grounded too, because I do have a tendency, like those horses, to be all over the place and take on more things and not be so focused. And it's hard. It's hard when you're so distracted and you're like, why am I not getting anything done? Well, there's a reason. There's a definite reason for that. And I remember a friend asking me that, and it's really kind of the litmus test that I've put on everything that comes my way. Okay, so my thing, like you, speaking is one of those things that I enjoy doing so much, even things like this. And then mentoring business owners, mentoring our youth, mentoring other business owners. Like that's what I really love to do. And if something comes along and it doesn't let me do those things, I really have a hard no of yes, thank you, but no, thank you, and just, again, staying very focused on what I really enjoy, because that's what fulfills me. That's what gives me the source of happiness. Right, Jason? So that's what I want to share too. You brought up some really great points. So I'm gonna clip that, because that's good stuff, Christopher.
You just brought up a phenomenal point that a lot of us have trouble with doing, and I struggle with it at times as well. Being able to say no.
Yeah.
Like when you know what is for you, and inherently what is not for you. And if you don't, it requires a change of habits, a change of demeanor. And a lot of people don't want to sacrifice the current version of themselves for the newer version that can free them and do the things that they want to do. So yeah, being able to say no, especially if it's something that's not going to be of benefit. If you're tired and you need rest, and rest is a priority, especially as a parent. You got kids to take care of, and you have these businesses that are running. You have a lot going on. Like we got to get off shortly because you got to go. So like
California's calling.
Just all of those things matter, and just it's a matter of protection so you can move forward. But yeah.
All right. Well, we got to wind this back down and close it out. But Christopher, in the couple minutes that we have, tell us, how do people find you, and what's next on your agenda, your bucket list?
Well, people can find me at www.truth.net. Also check out CultureHUBPHX.com. CultureHUB is the biggest endeavor I've probably done in my life. We're opening Arizona's first Black-owned co-working space. It's a space that's culturally designed. It's to be culturally safe for Black people, with Black people being elevated, but it's a space for everyone. Not all spaces protect Black people. So, worrying about people touching your hair, microaggressions, those are things that no one will have to worry about here. It's a space where everyone feels protected, where there is no competition. Everyone has a collaborative mindset, where we want everyone to win. Grand opening is Monday, November 27th. You can still get a legacy membership up until that time, tour the space and see it. As you see, it's a great vibe. It's real chilling here. It's right near downtown. Parking is right in front of the building. It's a great space and a great time, and I cannot wait. I have a great team. Shout out to Melissa, Dominique, Kimmy, Kevin, Joshua, Valentine, all of those guys. Like all dreams have more than one person that's tied to it, and I would be nothing without my team. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful to Phoenix. I'm grateful to you for this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And yes, shout out to teams. And I love that you said that, because you and I both know we don't do it alone.
At all.
Never do it alone. You always have people that are supporting you, being your cheerleaders, all of those things. So yes, I'm so excited for you. I did take a little mini tour today, virtually, and it's gorgeous, and it has such comfy chairs. Like, I cannot wait to come see it in person.
Oh, wait till you sit on the couches. You're gonna love it.
So that's that private presentation. Well, I'll sit on the couch and you'll do your poetry, and we'll be all good.
There it is. There it is.
All right, Christopher. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who tuned in live or who are catching the replay. Also, truth be told, on IG, you can find Christopher there. And just thanks. I really appreciate this time together and learning from you. I'm definitely having you back on, because you're just an amazing soul. Like, I'm so blessed that we got to know each other through Local First Arizona and have continued our connection. Royce Blake even saying Christopher's awesome. So I think Royce is like, I would love to have Christopher back on. So we'll make that happen in the new year, Christopher. And thank you so much again. Good luck with the space. November 27th, remember, is his grand opening. Make sure you follow him at CultureHUBPHX.com or CultureHUB PHX. Yeah, CultureHUBPHX.com. And we will see you guys all next week. Elaine Burks Mitchell joins me from the Bra Recycler. So we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend.
I miss it. Yeah, have a good
one. Bye, everyone.